Live from the Score Atlanta television studios in North Atlanta, this is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. I am your host, Craig Sager. It is Monday. We've got a great show to get into. We'll recap a lot of some big stories from this weekend. We'll have Charles and Michael Pack on with Double Trouble training in the second segment. It's Monday, so we will have Tim Scott of the GHSA to talk about the latest with the GHSA and their reclassification as well as spring sports. We will have the White County High School JROTC drone team on. I'm interested to talk to them about their incredible season they're having, and then the BSN weekend recap with some big time news. Let's go ahead, bring Najee Wilkins on to get going with our fast break headlines. Najee, how was the weekend?
It was good. How about you?
It was great. So did the pollen bother you at all?
Yeah, 100%. Was definitely sneezing a lot, stuffy nose, but had to take some stuff to make sure I was cleared up for the show for today. But definitely 100%.
Yeah, and usually when people complain about it, I just am like, oh, it is what it is. But this weekend was, it was absolutely ridiculous. I've never experienced this.
It hit an all-time high too. I don't know if you've seen that, but it hit 14,481. That was like the highest ever recorded in Georgia.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. I was just like, what is going on? Yeah, it was wild. And then before we get into some of these other things, big weekend, obviously, the March Madness. But I've got to bring something up. I saw a highlight package this morning of Stephon Castle. You've been talking about him. He's absolutely balling out, obviously from Newton High School. What do you think about just all the great players that have come through Georgia basketball, gone to the NBA, but then what he in particular has been able to do so far?
I think it's success so early on. Obviously they took him with the third overall pick in the NBA draft this year. You don't always see guys have the success early on, but it's been consistent through 82 games this season, right? He's continuing to get better and better. He's getting more comfortable beyond the arc. He's able to probe into the lane. He has a couple posters already on his resume. He's able to facilitate and set up opportunities for others. So in my opinion, I know they have De'Aaron Fox, but I feel like they have a guard for the future. Obviously in Stephon Castle, this depends on what direction they want to go, but you're getting an elite two-way player, in my humble opinion, that's going to be the guard, the other team's best perimeter player, and still be able to fill it up on the offensive side of the ball. It's incredible what he's doing so early on. In my opinion, he should be the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and then I'll pick your brain a little more on this. I was thinking just with his size, where he would stack up maybe in a different decade, but then to kind of go a little deeper, what do you think, not to necessarily help him because he's doing great, he's versatile, what piece do you think would be ideal to put on the floor with him for the Spurs so he can just go off?
Interesting. Good question, Craig. Obviously, I like Wembanyama. I think surrounding him with probably shooters would be really good, right? A couple guys that can knock down three-point shots so he can kind of probe into the lane and pass out. I think that will help him. Maybe begin another elite wing alongside him. You know what I'm saying? Just having two guys that can run the floor at a high-end level, I think would be good. So maybe like a stretch big, couple more wing pieces and shooters. I think if you have that, I think you can succeed with obviously Stephon Castle. Think about this, Craig. Go back and look at the team that won it all 2 years ago now with UConn, right? And they had Castle and everything like that. They had shooters around him. They had an elite big man in Alex Caravan, and then they also had really good guard play.
Yeah, very true. I just wanted to put that out because he's absolutely balling out. I was very impressed. Then one more story, we'll get to it later on, but Tommy Latham, it's been a big track and field season so far. He breaks the 4-mile mark. Between what Tommy's doing and then Maurice Gleaton on the track side, how huge is this to have guys that are pretty much all decade? You don't see this come through Georgia every once in a while. And we got the best mid-distance runner and then the best sprinter to probably ever come through the state.
No, it's insane to be witnessing this in real time. You got two elite athletes at their sport. I ran a little bit of cross country my sophomore year of high school, and it was just incredible. Like, I think my fastest time might have been 8:30 for the mile, right? He's running it in half that time. So, the endurance that you have to be able to run that and be able to do it at a high level definitely says a lot, man. Tommy Latham, he's a generational talent. Nobody's going to say it, but I'll say it on the platform. He's a generational talent. Things that he's doing is unheard of. And then to Maurice Gleaton really quick, come on, man, 10.01, 10.02. He's running nearly a sub-10. Bro, there's people that ain't even running a sub-11 that are juniors and seniors right now. So just, we gotta cherish it. We gotta find a way to try to get them on the platform on obviously our show. what they're doing is something super, super special.
Yeah, and what's awesome about both of them, they broke to the scene early. I mean, as freshmen and sophomores, everyone knew, okay, these guys are the real deal. They're winning state titles, but then for them to get better, it shows they are really going to have strong careers. And running the mile in 3:59 for Tommy, he's already won the cross country state titles, multiple Gatorade Player of the Year, and now to do this senior year, and same thing with Maurice. It's going to be very tough when we pick the Athlete of the Year on the boys' side. But Najee, go ahead and get us started with the fast break headlines with some soccer action.
All right, so Eastside Soccer clinched their first region title since 2001, a big-time victory for them, 1-0 over North Oconee. Eastside boys soccer team clinched the title. It was an impressive season for the Eagles under first-year head coach Jabari Bennett. Coming to the match, they were 10-0, had already surpassed their win total from a season ago when they went 9-7-1. Their goalkeeper said, "Our chemistry has really improved a lot. It is still the same players, but for us, it has just been a little bit better coaching, more understanding of the game, playing the way we want to, and finishing overall is a lot better as well." So, I mean, they're just doing it at a high level. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Just year one, being able to play at this level, absolutely spectacular. Getting it done not just offensively, but also defensively as well.
Yeah, and I believe he was a JV coach, so he has been coaching these guys when they're young. Now you see them as juniors and seniors and the success. Pretty incredible. And that east side, North Oconee, they're in the same region now. We've seen some great clashes with them in all sports. Obviously, the football game last year was absolutely nuts. All right, headline 2, Najee, Benedictine, another team in Class 4A that looks very talented next season.
Yes, they do. Cameron Cody, he committed officially to Clemson. He chose between Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, Indiana, LSU, and UCLA. I mean, an incredible story. He had 75 tackles, 9 for a loss, 6.5 sacks with 7 quarterback hurries. But what's cool is just the commitment itself, right? During his freshman season, he had a cardiac incident in October. Benedictine practice. He stopped breathing on the sideline. Benedictine trainers Brian Tootin and Ed Livingston performed CPR and shot Cody's chest 3 times with an automated external defibrillator to save his life after he stopped breathing. Cody was unable to breathe on his own for nearly 40 minutes as he was whisked to the hospital in an ambulance with Benedictine coach Danny Britt riding alongside his player. Clemson is Cam's dream school, and obviously everybody knew for a while that's where he wanted to go. I think the program is a perfect fit for his personality. He needs coaches that he can trust, and Clemson has that for him. So a great story. That's why I wanted to obviously have it in our headline. Go to SavannahMorningNews.com. Dennis Knight has the story here, but it's more than just commitment because he had to go through that his freshman year, had to recover, come back on the football field, and still played at a high level, man. So just being able to go through that experience and be able to play at a high level says a lot about him.
Yeah, and then the Clemson commitment, that's absolutely huge. Congrats to them. You saw the tape right there, an absolute game wrecker on the defensive line. All right, headline 3, Etowah's Cooper Heller commits to Young Harris. Cooper was the Region 5 Class 6A all honorable mention team this past season for the Eagles. He was a big-time scorer for Etowah. He averaged more than 15 points per game and got it done on the defensive side of the ball with 2 steals per game. He will now play his college basketball at Young Harris. Etowah has had a great run, and obviously he'll be battle-tested going up against state champion Wheeler multiple times, having that great battle in the regular season. What do you know about his game, Najee?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a really great scorer. It's multiple games, like they had big wins, and he was scoring 19, 20, 21. But just a guy that doesn't always need the ball in his hands, right? He could play off the ball, play on the ball, finish really good around the rim, could run an offense. I think he checks a lot of boxes for you. So for him going to Young Harris College, hey, that's a great start for him and can always transfer. I can give you one quick example. Walt Clayton Jr. went to Iona. Now he's one of the best players in the NCAA tournament remaining. That tells you all you need to know.
Very true. And so he was waiting for that opportunity. He got it. Great season and credit to him. All right, Najee, headline 4.
All right, Westside Macon guard Joshua Harden commits to Gordon State. Harden averaged 18.3 points per game this past season, 8.8 rebounds, and 2.4 steals per game. Harden scored 511 points this season for the Seminoles. He had one of his best games against Callaway, where he went off for 32 points on 15 of 25 shooting. Very efficient night. He actually picked up an offer from Gordon State on March 5th. felt pretty good about the program and obviously made his commitment over the weekend. He surpassed 1,000 career points and went over North Memorial this season where he finished with 22. So great guy. Got a chance to see him up close and personal at the Battle of the Peach Double Trouble Invitational. And I was really impressed with his play and ability to finish around the rim and also create offense. So a really good player Gordon State's getting.
Yep, and multiple fantastic seasons for him with Westside Macon. All right, headline 5, Stevens County hires a new head girls basketball coach. Her name is Tess Wright. According to WNEG Radio, Stevens County has named Tess Wright as their new head girls basketball coach. This happened on Thursday. Wright will be replacing longtime head coach Jerry Brown, who is set to retire at the conclusion of this school year. Brown has been the coach at Stevens County since 1979, where he brought in 45 years of coaching experience. Wright previously served as the girls head coach at Lumpkin County for previous 3 seasons, where the Lady Indians reached the Final Four in 2023, followed by 2 consecutive sub-500 seasons. Prior to Lumpkin County, Wright was an assistant on the girls basketball program, as well as serving as an assistant on the girls tennis staff at Calhoun High School from 2019 to 2023. Tess Wright played her high school basketball at Calhoun from 2011 to 2014, as well as her collegiate basketball at Thomas University. So looks like a pretty young coach, up and coming, Najee.
No, 100%. I mean, she got a really good resume. I thought they made an incredible hire in Tess Wright. I think she's going to really help elevate their program and get them to that level they want to be at.
Absolutely. And then I want to talk real quick just about last Friday's show. We obviously were covering that Campbell scenario with Coach McClure, Coach Gwynn. Lots of feedback from that episode. What are your thoughts of what we might see this week just as that situation continues?
I mean, hopefully, there's a resolution. Hopefully, obviously, they make a statement about it and, just get to the bottom of it. I think it's unfortunate for the coaches, especially with how important they are to the community and how much they mean to the kids. I mean, that's what we're doing it for the kids, for the community, and help get them to where they want to be in life. So I just hope that they issue a statement and, just say what it is. And then, hopefully we can all move on.
Yep. And so that investigation started, I think, last week, but Friday was the big HR meetings. It's a developing situation. I'm sure we'll have more news on it this week at scoreatl.com. But that wraps up our Fast Break headlines. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the other side.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Man, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. Right now we have Charles and Michael Pack in the studio to talk about double trouble training. Thank you guys so much for coming in. How's it going?
All is well. Thank you for having us, Craig.
Appreciate you having us, Craig.
You bet. All right, so just get us started with how Double Trouble was formed and kind of what the growth has been this last decade.
Absolutely. So quick synopsis is Charles and I, we both played college basketball. Charles ended up having 6 knee surgeries. I had 2. And then we just fell right into coaching and player development and then started building out from there. And then Charles started coaching at Norcross High School, and I started at Mount Pisgah down at St. Francis High School.
Gotcha.
We started.
And what always amazes me about the basketball season in Georgia, we're seeing a lot of guys that are freshmen, sophomores. They come to the scene. They are very skilled. They can make an immediate impact. But at the high school level, what are some of the main areas you guys focus on training that really can help them out?
Really all aspects. Like right now, a lot of players are skilled, younger than ever. So then sometimes just helping players, teach them how to compete, how to communicate, just intensity, energy, and definitely the skill stuff, holding the follow through, just the details of it, but just teaching them how to play basketball, how to compete, and translate stuff off the court, on the court in real life. So.
And then, Charles, this last season was incredible, very exciting on the boys and girls side. What were your thoughts about just this last Georgia high school season, just some of the programs like North Oconee winning back-to-back, some other new teams to the scene?
I mean, Georgia is a lot of talent, like y'all were talking about earlier. It's a lot of players in the NBA, ton of players in college, even in Auburn, just players all over. This year, it's a lot of guards. I mean, Norcross is good. Willard, they won the state. North Oconee has a really good shooter. Jalen Samuel, he's a good kid at St. Francis. There's just so much talent in the state. And really what separates that talent is whoever's going to stay disciplined and stay focused through the duration of their journey. But it's so much talent. Georgia is, like, loaded with talent for sure.
Yeah, and then, Michael, a question for you. So once you guys got started, you guys have built a foundation. You've been able to train a lot of very talented players. So how has that worked just over the years, having the guys that have come through and then kind of building the amount of players you work with?
And it's not easy. I mean, it's a course and task at hand. Each athlete is different. Teaching them patience. And that's kind of go back to our faith. First and foremost, I just want to acknowledge Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, but just teaching them about endurance. Those who endure to the end will make it. So it's kind of the same way with a player. We may get them as a freshman, and then just teach them how to stay the course. May not see results right away as a sophomore, but stay there the course until senior year, and then people with a like-minded, they get to where they want to get to. If that's going to high major, and everybody projection is different. Everybody talent pool is different. But I think them just learning how to stay the course and then just keeping their foot on the gas, despite even sometimes it's no results look like it's being made, but there are, and just staying the course. So that's kind of how we go about it with each athlete and the level of consistency. For sure. So that's our drive towards each everything that we're doing.
Yeah, and we couldn't talk about this last season without mentioning Caleb Wilson. Obviously, very skilled player, has the height, all these different things. But what about just like the training aspect can you guys provide to help a big player like that?
Caleb, I mean, we met him, which he was already talented. He was probably about 6'4", but just his discipline level, his commitment to the game, dedication to the game. He's a gym rat, like on and off the court. Like I'll send him clips, I don't know, 2 in the morning, like watch this. He respond right back, I got you, coach. Or he hit me up like other night, like how was my workout? Like he's always looking for feedback, wanting to get better. And he's super coachable. He's 6'11", athletic. He's going to UNC, but like, and just mentally off the court. He's a 4.0 student. Like he's just a great individual. So everything kind of just his life. He's just a good individual, but I'm excited for him.
Oh, for sure. And then what are some of the things that you guys would use to judge a good workout? Like the attention to detail. What are you guys looking for?
Definitely, I say attention to detail. I mean, we train players from like 4th grade all the way up to NBA professionals, so we have a wide range. But whoever's going to come in on time, who's going to be like assistant with the workout, definitely pay attention to the details, and who's going to go hard within the workout. Like that's the separation factor, having a good workout, but having that level of intensity while staying sharp at those details. So that's definitely what we focus on.
Yeah, and basketball season, I mean, it's different than football. It's not just one game per week. The schedules have to be pretty crazy. So how do you guys manage just being able to train all these guys when they all have their different schedules and responsibilities?
So that's the separation factor right there. Is a lot of people think like everybody got team practices and then they go home. But then, like you said, the Caleb Wilsons are some of the, even you mentioned Stephon Council earlier, but they come in before school, maybe 5 a.m., 6 a.m. They get done with practice, they come back at night. Brandon Boston worked out like 3 or 4 times a day. but they just got to come in and work outside of their normal schedules, and that's normal for high athletes to do so. It's just not no team practice no more, but them just coming in and sacrifice sleep, sacrifice some time to friends and the social life, but just make sure they stand on their regimen of consistency.
As much as they sacrifice, we sacrifice as well. Like, it's 2 of us, and it's so many athletes that we work with. Like, definitely blessed, but we definitely do our best. So we always ask them just to come in and go hard, because we go hard for, it's 2 of us and hundreds of them. So.
Yeah, and then you guys were talking about some of the injuries you guys had to overcome with the knee surgeries. But who were some of the maybe trainers or coaches that helped inspire you guys on just what you feel like works, what's important for these kids to really ingrain into their game?
I mean, I definitely give credit to a trainer named Mark Edwards. I mean, he's been in grassroots basketball for a very long time. I mean, he's one of our first trainers I think we really truly had. But Mark, he was special because he drove like reps, high level repetition, where it eliminate the thinking in the game and added in the instincts. But I think that was just a big part of us learning the game, and then even what we teach right now, repetition. Obviously, we including exaggeration, but definitely a big shout out to Mark Edwards for sure.
And then in terms of the training, I'm sure you guys could do a one-on-one, but other times you guys have a lot of athletes coming in. So what does that look like in some of the bigger training events?
So we have, with Double Trouble, it's a lot. So say with training, we have group training maybe 3 or 4 times a week from kids from 4th grade through high school. So those groups, like in the gym, would be like 60 kids in our workouts. Then we have our individual sessions, small group sessions, which are smaller groups. And then we have our college players over the summertime. Like, some of them do individuals, some of them do groups. Then we have our NBA players, which we have about like 10 of those. They'd be at home, so we do individuals. And then we have camps. Like, we do a Brandon Boston or Jose Alvarado. They play for the Pelicans. We do a camp with them over the summer. Those have over 200 kids. Then we do our camp, DT Academy. We have over 300 kids. So we just always doing something. We have high school events. We have AAU events. Like, we did 3 AAU events so far. We had over 300 teams. So I don't know. Basketball is definitely, that's all we do.
Yeah, and you guys have some summer events up. You see it right there, June 7th and 8th. How many years have you guys been doing events in the summer, and what can we expect with these?
Yeah, so this is our 5th year doing summer events. Just getting kids more exposure, which kids need more now than ever. Just trying to figure out how to get ahead and get projection amongst college coaches, prep schools, anything to help them just get an advantage over the next athlete. And then also building competitive nature, put them against good matchups where they feel like it's competitive, where they're excited to play and have enthusiasm about playing, and we'll probably see a better result from them as well. So that's what we're striving to do.
Yeah, and you're talking about exposure. So what if there's a guy or a girl that maybe hasn't gotten the big opportunities, might be flying under the radar, but how is working with them maybe allowed you to advocate for them or kind of put people in the loop on what you see in them?
For sure. I say, when they play in our events, we're always going to have exposure. We have a ton of media always, so if they come there and perform and do their job, it's easy to give them exposure. And then I posted a video of a girl, Toby, a few days ago, but she got college coaches DMing her from that shooting video. She made like 30 or 40 in a row, but just stuff we put out on our platform, whether it's Instagram or whatever, Twitter, we always just trying to help players. So we always going to promote them when they work with us or somehow have ties to us.
And then I think one of you're still on the staff at Norcross, is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is year 8.
Year 8.
Trying to get a state championship next year.
Yeah, and that's obviously a very talented program. What's been exciting about that, just working on a program that's going to be in that conversation each year as a potential contender, and then playing just such a difficult schedule each year?
That's good. As a competitor, I think that's a schedule you want. You want to coach those type of kids that want to be in those environments and want to compete. And every day, the players just want to get better. So it's definitely been a blessing. Coach Mac, Jesse McMillan, he's definitely a great coach over there, great mentor, and he's definitely helped us out a lot since we've been there. So I definitely appreciate him for that as well.
And then last question, people that want to follow what you guys do in the off season, what's the best way to track it?
Yeah, so Instagram, y'all can follow us on Double Trouble Training, and then Twitter, PackDT, which is Double Trouble Training as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for enlightening us in what you guys are up to. Congratulations on over a decade, and we look forward to watching it.
Thank you so much, Kurt.
You bet. All right. See you guys on the other side. I appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. We'll have Tim Scott of the GHSA.
Presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
Welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. Right now we have Tim Scott of the GHSA on to talk about spring sports. Tim, how's it going?
Hey, doing well. Hope we can get this weather by us the next couple of days.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to rain. It looks like it held off for the most part this weekend, but obviously spring, you always have to worry about that. But I want to ask you just about spring break. Not every major county or area is going to have the same one. People are still scheduling all these matchups. Do you see that during the spring break months, spring break weeks, that schools have been able to schedule more than maybe in years past, or has it always been like this?
No, I mean, as far as I can remember, we just made plans that if you played baseball in this or whatever spring sport you might have, you're just going to have to plan to be there. It's a lot like playing basketball during Christmas, and there's Christmas tournaments or the wrestling tournaments that take place during Christmas. And of course, football, everybody's hoping to be playing during Thanksgiving. So it's just something that you plan for, and a lot of schools use it, and they travel maybe and have some sanctioned events outside of the state that they can go to. So just gives them an opportunity to play some different people maybe. Yeah, and obviously I've been looking at the website, ghsa.net, and your social media. You guys have the postseason rankings, for looks like tennis now. Those look pretty detailed just in the latest report I've seen. What's maybe the future in a sport like tennis for the rating system, being able to potentially see the playoffs like that? Well, and the people that are in that field that really work a lot, they've got some ideas that we're discussing too about some of the ranking systems. And so I believe that's going to be a big topic of conversation over the next year is postseason rankings. We have our own system here that we use. But then you've got max preps and you've got some other things out there. And I think a lot of our coaches are wanting to kind of investigate what's out there, how can we use it, and, what would it look like if we were using something like that. So again, that is a lot of the discussion that we're having in the member organization now. Yeah, and it seemed like you guys were really busy at the start of this month with all the winter sports closing up. Now spring's obviously in the middle of its season, but is this period of time maybe a little less busy for you guys where you're able to look more into the future and kind of divide up your manpower a little better? Yeah, I don't know about less busy. We are working on some different things. Of course, we're trying to line up venues for next year already. Talking with people about basketball, about wrestling, our softball venues, all the different, places, trying to make sure we have those, the dates are there, and get everything locked down. So those are a few of the things that we're working on. And then we have an executive committee meeting coming up in April, and we'll, talk about a few little minor bylaw changes. Probably the biggest thing that we'll discuss is trying to have a GHSA award for people that have really dedicated to the organization in whatever area that could be in. It may be boys sports, girls sports, could be officiating, and there's a lot of them, but Ernie Yarborough's bringing that forth. So the committee will vote on that to try to recognize people that have really dedicated themselves and done a great job for long periods of time with our organization. Yeah, and it looks like that meeting you mentioned, is that going to be April 13th and 14th? And what's it like to have that 2 days back to back, or what you guys want to accomplish? Well, I think it's really good. The 13th is a lot of committee meetings. So our board of trustees will meet, the reclass committee will meet. We'll have an eligibility, swimming, cheerleading. A lot of those committees like that meet, talk, visit, discuss things. And then the following day is the big executive committee meeting where those committee heads will present that stuff and we'll take votes on it. And then have there been any talk about new sports maybe to add to the GHSA? Has that come up at any of these meetings? We do. We have to have at least 32 teams that want to participate. Some of the sports that we've talked about or that have been brought up don't have that many. So we go ahead and tell schools that, hey, play it as a club sport. Let's see how it can grow. We want to do that. We want to add where we can add. Some of our schools are, especially smaller ones. It's tough to offer everything that we offer now. We have over 30 activities that we offer for our young people.
Yep. And then what does the summer look like for the GHSA once the school year's over? I mean, how often do you guys meet, and what do you guys try to accomplish in that summer month?
Well, our office is open other than the 2 dead weeks, which is around the first week of June and that 4th of July week. Our office is open the rest of the time, and we're in here working. As far as having meetings, we'll probably have some reclass meetings during the summer, just because next fall we'll be going into a new cycle. So we'll have to have some discussion about that. But it's just as busy. We have officials camps going on. We're getting ready there. We start eligibility for the next year coming from all the schools. And, we have over 450,000 athletes that we've done eligibility on this year. So, those start rolling in. So summer's, relatively busy around here. Hopefully we'll have everything locked down and the planning done for the year, but that's kind of how it looks.
Yeah, and then I was actually going to mention that. So now that we've had the fall sports complete, we've had winter and spring is in full swings, you guys usually release like a number on that overall participation. So 450,000 athletes across the state. Is this another year once again where those numbers have gone up across the state?
Yeah, we're excited that our schools do such a good job recruiting and trying to get athletes out and young people out to participate. We're an education-based organization, and that education comes first, but we want to make sure we provide all the extracurricular activities possible for a young person to participate in as they work towards graduation.
And then esports, that's one of the things that will be coming up. We also have slow pitch softball. But in terms of esports, this is the year they have that new facility, correct? Is that in Lumpkin County?
Yeah, I believe so. Tanya Anderson heads that up for us.
And then what are some of the things that have maybe been learned over the years since that was introduced?
I'm going to tell you now that esports, those guys are amazing at what they can do. And of course, there's multiple state championships within an esport organization. It's not just one championship. And then we have 2 state championships. We host one in the fall and one in the spring. So gives those guys a lot of opportunity in the gaming. It's really bigger than I even knew as I started this thing, man. There's some guys that can do some amazing things. And that's one of those sports that you have to be really careful, because if you're really good at it, sometimes you can get sponsored and be a professional athlete before you realize it. And we have some kids that fall in those categories sometimes. So we have to watch that as well.
Then obviously we got spring football coming up too. Have those rules changed at all in recent years, or the same sort of rules and formats on the number of practices?
It's the same rules and formats that we've had in recent history, so nothing's really changing there.
Yep, except a lot more fans are coming out for those spring games. Always very excited. And then in terms of the golf state championships, that has to be another challenging thing to accommodate with all the golfers in it. What's that looking like this year?
Again, Jay Russell does a great job with it as well. We're excited to have some really nice places to play, and we have some really good golfers here in the state, and year in and year out, the performances are really good. So we're excited to see what happens this year.
Yep, it's been an exciting season so far. So someone had a double eagle, I think, at the Cobb County Championships. That story's up at scoreatl.com. But Tim, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll catch up later.
Hey, thanks. You have a great week, guys.
You too. All right, there goes Tim Scott. All right, don't go anywhere. We will be back on the other side with the White County JROTC Club.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
A journeyman with Local 85, when you turn out, you can be hitting 6 figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. Right now we have the White County High School JROTC drone team on the show. How's it going, guys?
Sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
It's not working.
No worries. I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me? Hold on just a sec. We'll work this out. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear us. Okay, you can see in the background they're showing some highlights of their season. They won the national championship earlier this month, I believe. Hey, can you guys hear us?
You guys just start telling them about the program.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead and get us started. Let's talk about the team and just what you guys have been able to do this year so far.
My name is Rodrigo Nieves. I'm a sophomore at White County High School, as long as these two. I've been on the drone team for 2 years, and this is Steven.
My name is Steven Serra. I've also been on the drone program for 2 years. This is Cooper Joyner.
I'm Cooper Joyner. I'm the programmer. I run the autonomous program for our drone team.
All right, so you guys mentioned...
So recently, about 3 weeks ago, we were at Army Nationals, and we placed first on the skills competition, and we got semifinals on the teamwork portion. That's just some recent success that we had. My job was the pilot. I got 590, the winning score at the competition, and Cooper was the coder. You can say a little bit more about that.
So my code, I got 130 points, which was the highest out of the entire Army competition. We had to make adjustments. We only have 6 attempts per run. We have 2 runs. And with each run, it changes. There's wind flow from air vents in the buildings. There's little tiny factors that can mess a program up. And it is really challenging with errors, computer errors, and many other aspects of it, but it is fun in the long run.
My job as the pilot is flying the skills course in under 1 minute, going as many laps as I can within that time frame, getting the highest score possible. On teamwork, we have 1 minute and 30 seconds to complete as many objectives as possible to get the highest score. And Stephen can say a little bit more about that.
So in the teamwork mission, you're teamed up with another team from another school. you're paired with a minute 30 to complete two main options. There's towers with beanbags on them. One team has to knock down the beanbags while the other tries to get balls from behind a black curtain where there's an observer standing behind, guiding them to get the balls out.
And that's basically, oh wait, no, we forgot. Communications. Can you explain communications?
So for our communications, we have a logbook, which consists of basically an overview of what each of us do. So for teamwork, piloting, autonomous, we all have things written in the logbook to help us, I should say, push through our competition. So we get interviewed by judges at the competition, and we get scored. I guess that's how they do it. And they have to put them into a comparison with other teams to see how well the logbook was put together, how well we did in the interview, how well we knew our positions. So Neves, being the pilot, he can go on and on about piloting and things that he can do. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff in that logbook that we use every single day for our just practices and competitions.
Yeah, and obviously...
It talks about previous strategies. It talks about what we do during the practices, what we plan on doing in the competitions.
All right, can you guys hear me 1 sec? I want to ask you just about how you guys got started, going from being new to this team, coming together with your different roles, and then becoming national champions.
So it started about last February, where our instructor proposed that we start a drone team. So we started practicing, figured out our best pilot and coder, and we just went from there. We did 2 smaller sized competitions, and then we went straight on to nationals after that.
And talk about the coding aspect a little bit.
Oh,
wait.
Can you talk about?
Yeah, how to code this? Like, what are you doing to maximize the obstacle course, and just what are some of the things you do to code?
What are you doing to maximize the obstacle course, and what do you do to code?
So currently we have a structure of an hour and 30 minutes after every school day, practicing as much as we possibly can to get perfection. As the pilot, all that means for me is just just flying through the course as much as possible within the time that I have. For coding, he can explain that a little bit better.
So we have our course set up in our back room for our JROTC, and it has a vent right next to the course, so I can simulate our drafts that we can have potentially at the competitions. And I use coding. I use 2 coding websites. They're called Blockly, and one's called Python. Python can be used for a number of different things. A lot of workplaces use them. So we use it for the drones, so I can simulate what it would be like at a competition, but in our back room.
Yeah, and then how has participating in this? Yeah, how has this helped you with skills that you can apply in the future?
So I plan to go to MIT after high school and get a master's degree in engineering, and I think that flying drones and being on the drone team will help me a lot with my teamwork skills and ability to adapt to newer technology.
I plan to join the military and fly drones for them. So just JROTC drone team, it just kind of flows into it. So it's getting me ready for that.
And then I plan to go to UNG, which is our local college up here, get my RN, registered nurse, and then on the side I can go do drone competitions for fun. That's a fun hobby I can get around in.
Well, you guys, I really appreciate it. Congratulations on the national championship. Thank you so much for explaining it. Rodrigo, Steven, and Cooper, we appreciate it. All right, so there you go. There's the drone team. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with our BSN Weekend Recap. Welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. I've got Max Wyborski and Najee Wilkins on. It's time for our BSN weekend recap. We're going to focus on Tommy Latham breaking the 4-minute mile. It was a 3:59.79. One story about Tommy real quick. I got to see him run as a sophomore at the Wingfoot Night of Champions. And so this is an event that it takes the state champions from every single classification and puts them in the race together. So this was a very crowded field. I think in his event of the mile, which he ran, I think he also ran one of the relays maybe, but you had, I think, 6 total state champions in this, another like 10 state runner-ups, and he was only a sophomore. The race starts, they're almost done with the first lap, but because the field was so crowded, they had to start the race over because there was illegal contact, which, I mean, as a runner, you already have exerted that much energy, almost running a full lap at that speed. He comes right back, lines up, and then I saw him win it. That was a 4-minute, 11-second mile, but considering that they had to do the restart, it was still very impressive. And then for him, he had a great cross-country season. He's had the target on his back. Everyone's trying to race him, but he's just blowing out the field. And then for him to become the first athlete in state history to break that 4-mile mark, Max, seeing a 3-minute in front of a mile, I mean, that's stuff of legends.
I mean, it's something I only thought you'd see in the Olympics or something that you wouldn't see in high school, but there must be something in the water at Marist, right? I mean, he's breaking Brendan Mahoney's record of 4 minutes and 4 seconds in 1999 and shattering it actually with under 4-minute miles. So it's just truly remarkable.
Yes, it is. And I mean, he went out last year to an event in California, swept the distance races. I think he won the 1600, and then less than 24 hours later broke the state record in the 3200. He's also on both relay teams, and this is also a guy that's dominated cross country. I think he's a 3-time reigning Gatorade Player of the Year. So I think it's safe to say he's the best mid-distance distance runner in state history. He's going to go to UNC at the next level. What do you think just about his consistency we've seen over the years? Like, obviously taking care of his body, being able to perfect it, shave it, and then you see the big smile right there, finally breaking that 4-minute.
I mean, there's got to be so much preparation that goes into a run like that, not even just physically, but mentally too, just preparing yourself and getting ready to run under 4 minutes. I mean, that's something remarkable in itself. But like you said, the preparation has got to be off the charts. I mean, keeping your body that tight for that long and in that good a shape is just truly crazy.
Yep, and Najee, we got you on. He's going to be going to UNC. What's just your take on what he's going to be able to accomplish, just seeing how much he's already done at the high school level, still getting faster, but, I mean, do you expect him to really be a trailblazer in this and continuing to shave off seconds?
Yeah, for sure. Like Max said, I mean, it's a hard work ethic that obviously he has, a lot that goes into, prepping, to be able to run that kind of time, right? It's a lot of running, a lot of training, short sprints, long sprints. It's a lot that he has to do to prepare his body. I'm sure he's running easily probably 10 miles a day, maybe even more. But it goes a lot because you got to keep your body fresh as well. You don't want to get too much damage on it too with shin splints and, make sure your calves are good. So it's a lot that goes into it, but credit him for obviously a great career so far in high school. But just in terms of your question on college, yes, I think he will. I mean, he's going to a great program at UNC. Probably haven't seen a talent like his before. And I think he's going to get great coaching and only get better. And you could even see him hit 350, maybe even less than that in college.
Yep, and I mean, he definitely deserves that NIL deal. I think what's interesting about him, I mentioned when he had to do the restart in the Wingfoot Night of Champions to still win that just shows his level of focus. But if you remember last year with the Hughes relay team, with Maurice Gleaton and that special group, during the prelims to qualify for state, they had, during one of the exchanges, one of the players actually fell down. And then Maurice picked up the baton and was able to qualify as like a number 8 finish. And then obviously once they got to state, they cleaned it up. They came in first, and that event alone gave them enough to come to the top. So you have 2 guys that have faced adversity in the big stage, Maurice Gleaton, Tommy Latham, been able to get their team up front. Do you think those 2 guys right now in their specific events are those generational guys that we aren't going to see many like them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I said, we're going to go back this years later and be like, wow, like what they were able to accomplish was the stuff of legends. Because, like I said, you don't see sub-10s or close to sub-10s. You don't see somebody hitting a sub-4 in a mile. Like, that is absolutely insane from running the sport itself. Like, that is so hard to do and so much preparation. So, yeah, we're going to look back and be like, well, they were really big trailblazers, and they showed us what it meant to be a special athlete. And, yeah, I think we use generational in football. We do it in basketball, but we never do it for these sports, for track and field. We never do it for, obviously, cross country. And I think we should start having that conversation because that's what these two kids are. They are generational talents in their sports, and they are super special and exciting to watch.
Yeah, and for perspective, every other athlete that comes through the state knows that someone broke that 4-minute barrier. So they're going to, hey, I want to run cross country. I want to be great. I want to run the mile. What should I be going for? 4 minutes? Oh, no one's ever done that. Well, now someone has. Same deal with the 100 meters with Maurice Gleaton running a 10.01. So just, Max, how huge is that to have a guy that's actually done it for these future athletes coming through the state, knowing that it's not impossible?
For sure. I mean, they know now that it's possible and that they're equipped with what they can do to win and to be successful in the sport as well. And then how many times do you think Coach Chadwick asked Tommy to maybe return a punt or a kickoff or two on the side? So you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. You see him right there finishing it. Man, a packed house just to come out and see him being able to run. Najee, what's your thoughts just on the rest of the track and field season, just how incredible it's going to be at the state championships, knowing that, I mean, these guys, they've already etch their names in the record books, just an opportunity for them to go out on top, but also another guy that's not far behind them able to try to break through and pull off the upset.
Get your popcorn ready. That's what I would say to any fan. Get your popcorn ready because it's going to be special. It's going to be fun. And hopefully we get the same kind of crowd. You know, I hope we get a crowd just like that you've seen with Maris, with Tommy breaking that record. I hope everybody comes out and supports these athletes because what they're doing is spectacular. It's phenomenal. And there's also, like you said, the NIL deals. There are ways you can land NIL with track and field. So I hope that sponsors are out there. I hope that it's a packed crowd and we give them the atmosphere, the ambiance, the environment that they deserve.
Absolutely. And, I mean, he did it. He's already had such an incredible career to be that first guy to break 4 minutes. Couldn't be happier for him. We'll have more at scoreatl.com covering the track and field season, but that is it for today. Join us tomorrow live at noon for another edition of the Georgia High School Sports Daily.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting GoGCSO.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together we can make a difference.